Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2018 October kits for this. And our theme this week is Halloween, and so I'm going to start with some of the free cut files that are over on the Hip Kit Club website under the Downloads tab, or it might be the Cut Files tab. But there's a lot of really cute Halloween images, and so I went ahead and cut out a really cute spider web, a purple bat, and a cute little white ghost. And the fun challenge about making a Halloween page for this week is that the kits are not Halloween related at all, but I went through all of the papers and embellishments, and there is a lot of purple and orange and even green, but I concentrated on things that were orange and purple, and that like on this sheet here from the Whimsical collection, it's full of these fun little banners and tabs, and I went for the purple and orange ones that said general things. They weren't necessarily about something specific. And then on this Whimsical paper, there are purple and orange hexagons. And so what I thought of as I was doing this was I'm just going to kind of go through everything and pick out whatever I could use that's orange and purple and even black. And so I kind of played around with this off camera. I pulled out some of the Vicki Boutin ephemera, and I'm going to scrap this cute little picture of Paige. This is from, I think, 4 years ago, but she's got on an orange and purple shirt, and it was perfect for all of these colors. And I thought for my design, since, you know, hexagons aren't necessarily Halloween or circles aren't, they're just general shapes, and all of these embellishments are just generic in nature, I thought, well, I'm just going to sort of maybe put my photo in the middle and then just add the ephemera and die cuts and things kind of all around it, nice and tight, and do more of a center layout or a center design, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use white cardstock as my background, and that was just clear gesso that I used there, mostly in the center of the layout, because I know that that's where my design is going to be situated. And so you know me and my love for mixed media. Now what I did here was I pulled out the Wisteria Lane shimmers from last month's color kit because it's purple. And on the plastic that I used, it already had a little bit of dried Distress Oxides from something else that I used. And so the Wisteria Lane kind of blended with that pinkish purple oxide to make the perfect purple shade. But here I'm adding the Wisteria Lane as is, just to add some different shading of purple. Since I've got some darker purple and some lighter purple, it's always fun to have, you know, different shades of one color. And then this is how you can make orange. If you got the color kit this month, mix the Sunflower shimmers with the Pop Art pink, and it makes the perfect Halloween orange color to match all of the orange in the Whimsical things and in the Vicki Boutin ephemera. I was so excited when I did that, because it was the perfect color, and it's fun to mix colors together and get new colors. And so, you know, I didn't really well, I have orange paints in my stash, but I wanted to try to limit myself to the things that we've just recently gotten in the hip kits. And so if you can mix those two colors together, you're gonna get the perfect orange for the kits, or the things that are in the kits, I think. So all I did was smush some paint down on the plastic packaging and smush it around, and added some splatters with my brush, and then I'm going to let that dry and just start to play around. And this is kind of what I was talking about with having my picture in the middle and just sort of have all of the embellishments kind of nice and tight around the picture. So I wanted to make sure that you could see the mixed media behind everything, and so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because a lot of it's going to get covered up, but you're going to be able to see it kind of peeking around the edges of everything. And I got the white cardstock from the cardstock kit. It's the, I don't remember if it's the double thick or the marshmallow. They're very similar. It's a smooth, thick white cardstock, and it's perfect for mixed media like this. I'm not adding a ton of water, but whenever I want to blend and smudge things together, I definitely use gesso. It allows the paint to stay wet a little bit longer, and so you can dab it up if you need to, or you can smudge it and blend it, and it's not going to just soak right through the paper immediately. You can move the color around a little bit before it dries. So I'm going to start to work on building everything now. I'm going to use some tissue paper from my stash behind my picture, and then a couple of the Project Life cards. Again, you've got orange and a couple of different purple ones here, perfect for Halloween. And I like to use the Project Life cards as layers when I can, because there's always some that have the perfect color that's going to match something in one of the other kits, and they make great layers if you don't do Project Life. I highly recommend getting the kit if you can, because there are plenty of things in there that you can use on your scrapbook layouts. So I thought about using this little journaling spot here from Vicki Boutin, and I cut the tab because I was going to try to overlap it onto the edge of the photo, but it was just too much orange. So what I love about those hexagons is that there's a darker orange and a lighter orange, and then the darker and the lighter purple, and I'm just going to use these as layering pieces. You know, like I said earlier, they have really nothing to do with Halloween, but they make the perfect little layers, and they're just the perfect colors, and then so are those circles. And then I'm going to try to work in those little tabs from the whimsical paper and work those in as well. I love those little icons from the cut files. That little bat is so cute, and I cut that on one of the whimsical papers also. I believe it's the back side of the paper that's got all those different color tabs on it. So now I've kind of glued all of that together. I can just kind of move it around as one big unit, and I wanted to back the eyes and the mouth of the ghost, and so I just get a scrap paper, a scrap piece of white paper, and put some black ink on it, and then cut it out and stick it behind there. So now his eyes and mouth are a lot more visible. And I cut the spider web on one of the Jen Hadfield papers, the black and white paper that's in the main kit. I decided to go with some black thread to add a little bit of texture and some more pops of black. And I'm going to layer that in a couple of places. I think Halloween is probably, of all the holidays to scrap, I don't know why, but I just think Halloween is the most fun. I don't know if it's, I just like the colors. I like adding in, you know, I don't use orange a lot unless I'm making a rainbow layout of some sort. And so it's fun to use a color that I haven't used in a while. And I do love working with purple. And it's even fun to add green in the mix and black. It's just a fun holiday to scrap. I think it's because all the little ghosts and bats and witches and cats are just cute and fun to play with. So I'm adding some rub-ons, and now these are from Whimsical, and they're just the little, if you look on the rub-on sheet, there's a bunch of little like X's, like little stitch marks, and then little like V-shapes, almost like a different type of stitch. And so I'm just adding in a little bit of those. It's hard to see here because they're really tiny, but when you look at it in person, you can see the detail, and they're just a little bit, just small details, but they're really tiny. Now this came in, I believe, the Project Life kit. It's the Heidi Swapp stamp set, and I really love that square down at the bottom that kind of starts light and then gets darker with little tiny dots. And I just wanted to use this as a detail. So I'm just adding a little bit of this stamping work to the background. And again, it's hard to see here with everything on top of it, but you can see the little circles kind of peeking out from behind and underneath the picture. The stamps are really, really fun. There's some florals on there, some phrases and words, and that nice big open tab that you could use for the date or the journaling, anything. I added some eyes to the bat because I wanted him to actually be looking at something instead of just being having white eyes, and so I added some black ovals to his eyes. And then I'm going to start to just play with all of these little tabs again. I wasn't sure. I don't think I wound up using all of the ones that I cut out, but I want to scatter them around the photo, but also I'm paying attention to the colors because I want to make sure that I have a variety of the dark orange, the light orange, and so on and so forth. I do use a couple of the word phrase stamps from the Heidi Swapp stamp set here. And these are general statements that can be used on any layout with any theme. These have nothing to do with Halloween. But I think it's fun to you can obviously tell this is a Halloween layout, even though the word Halloween isn't even on it. And back in the day, or I don't even say back in the day, maybe just up until a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, recently, I don't remember. My point is, I used to think that I had to have the word Halloween on the layout. If I'm making a Christmas layout, it's got to say Christmas on it. And I've learned to just realize that that's not the case. You don't have to have the name of the season or the day on there. I think I mentioned that last week in my fall layout, that I felt like, you always have to use the word fall on your page. And I didn't. And I was saying how it's fine. You don't have to. So I just decided to go with Wicked Cute. I thought Wicked was enough of a Halloween type word. And I used the little alpha stickers from the Whimsical sticker book. And then I used those shiny metallic gold thickers to create the word cute. And I thought it was short and sweet. And it's just a cute picture of her in a cute Halloween shirt. It's not a monumental event that requires a long and drawn out and well thought title. It's just a cute layout with a cute picture. And so that title is fine with me. Sometimes I want the title to be creative and to be well thought out, and sometimes it just doesn't matter, So yeah, and if there's something that you want to say that you can't fit into the title, then just talk about it in the journaling. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want. I am going to add glue behind all the stickers and the thickers because 9 times out of 10, they are not going to stick if you use gesso. Because especially the clear gesso, it tends to be gritty. So when you touch it, it's got a texture to it and nothing wants to stick to it. And so I always add glue to make sure. More thread. I felt like I needed a pop of black down there underneath the picture. And in the end, you know how metallic gold works. If you don't see it just in the perfect lighting, it looks dark. And in this case, whenever I use something metallic and I try to take my pictures at the end of my layout, I try to get it in the light so you can see the reflection of the gold. But in this case, I kind of wanted it to look dark because it's a Halloween layout and I have a lot of black going on. And so the stickers actually look black in the final picture, or they look dark, and I'm fine with that. I wasn't necessarily going for the gold look. But you can see them shining in the close-ups also. Now this is one of the sticker sheets. I believe this is Jen Hadfield, and we have black stickers with, it's almost like a white cream color type on it, and I'm going to use a couple of those again to add some more pops of black. I'm getting close to being done. I finished sticking these on, and then I took a break, and when I came back and looked at it after I did my journaling, I felt like there was too much white space, I guess because everything was so concentrated toward the middle of the layout, and so I decided to jazz up the edges of the layout to give it a little bit more interest. And so what I did was I pulled out the sheet that I had used to cut the spider web out, and since I had cut a chunk of it out to stick on my Cameo mat, I went ahead and reattached it to make it 12 by 12 again, and I just used some washi tape from my stash, and so now I have 12 by 12 again, and I want to kind of outline the edge of the layout with this black and white paper. And so all I'm going to do is kind of crookedly slice off a little bit on either side and then attach it to the paper. And that's a great way to get some interest on the sides, or you could do this on all 4 sides. You could do it on the top and the bottom. Sometimes I do it on the top and the bottom, and it just depends on the layout. Depends on if I've got a lot of white space, I feel like it needs some interest. Just depends. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue that down and fold up the edges to kind of ruffle it up. And then off camera, I do some stitching down the edges there with some purple thread, and you can kind of see that there. But that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. It was so much fun to do it. I was kind of nervous at first because I thought, oh, there's no Halloween stuff in these kits. How am I going to do this? But there really is a lot of stuff that you could use to make a Halloween page, and it was fun. And the cut files help quite a bit. I think they really add the perfect touch, and they're so adorable, and there's quite a few of them this month. So let me know if you have any questions about the kits or techniques or anything at all, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.